Throw your hands up crazy. Hip Hop Nation. Hip Hop Nation. Hands up crazy. Hip Hop Nation.
Everybody like what they like, you know.
Throw your hands up crazy. Hip Hop Nation. Hip Hop Nation.
To each his own, you know. I respect everybody. But you know, I got my personal favorites. Listen. Some listen to Jigga, well I fuck with Jizza. Timberland and Saul, I prefer True Master and RZA, go figure. Gangsta rap commercial, my nigga. We used to fight for power, now we just sell liquor. Look, that nigga ain't the man, that nigga man-tan. On stage tap dancing like Sandman. We should want something better, the other day I got a letter. It said they were suckers, that's Chuck and Sarnetta. You fuck with hoes, well, I fuck with queens. You trying to hear what's in the head, you trying to see what's in the jeans. I can't feel y'all niggas, y'all ain't got no depth. My shit sound right like I ain't got no left. Like long without cleft, y'all been miseducated. While I studied under masters, get my wisdom elevated. I mean what I say what I mean. I channel life on the real, y'all niggas caught up in between. Is it the sum or the mean? Who wanna run with the green? Flips the dictionary if you know what I mean. I've been a microphone fiend since Eric B ran for president. The Dow with BET since 93, what you represent? The microphone guy rolling L's, but I'm not tired. Here to praise the true and living, all else is just a fraud. I see the God in myself, so I call my brother Lord. With the mic with no cord is how I hold my sword.
Now we can talk about mind elevation. I'll show you how to raise the hip hop nation. And we can show you how real it gets. We from the streets, you never heard a crew that was real as this. Now we can talk about mind elevation. I'll show you how to raise the hip hop nation. And we can show you how real it gets. We from the streets, you never heard a crew that was real as this.
Hip hop ain't dead, you gotta change the channel. Get off the pale horse and untie the camel. To cross the burning sand, hip-hop's a burning man. Children come to Mr. Green, learn and understand how hip-hop was sold, niggas lost control. Crucified the Savior for 3 pieces of gold. Hope gets stained for the same ropes and chains that kept Jesus on the cross. Keep heroin in your veins, keep Hiram in the grave where you content with being slaves. Get up off your ass and see the devil get slayed. I come back to resurrect the youth, to stand for Big and Pac and live for Jay and Proof. Most rappers in cahoots, they never tell the truth, so they on the witness stand, and he's the only proof. The sky is falling or it could be a plane. I wanna get out the HOV, but someone's in my lane, pushing big bodies over dead bodies, while the blind, deaf, and dumb wave back at everybody. So what's the cause for the life of Rick Ross? For the addicted crack mothers and now our babies lost. Rap niggas lost in the name of the Lord. So now with the mic with no cord is how I hold my sword. They say real niggas do real things, but they goose me most high, so real niggas are kings.
Now we can talk about mind elevation. I'll show you how to raise the hip hop nation. And we can show you how real it gets. We from the streets, you never heard a crew that was real as this. Now we can talk about mind elevation. I'll show you how to raise the hip hop nation. And we can show you how real it gets. We from the streets, you never heard a crew that was real as this. Hands up crazy, hip hop nation. Hip hop nation, hands up crazy, hip hop nation. Throw your hands up crazy, hip hop nation. Hip hop nation, hands up crazy, hip hop nation.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Hour of Truth show with BaBa and co-host Hakim Green. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing very, very well. It's another week and another intense topic. And, you know, the African origins of Judaism has got my mind working for the past week to try to put it all together.
Cool, man. You know, this evening we're going to have Brother A.A. Rashid, you know, really going on the Kabbalah, you know, because he's really a specialist in that area. He's done a lot of research. He's done a lot of lecturing. He has DVDs out as well. You know, he's been teaching on this subject now for quite some time. Brother A.A. Rashid, are you there?
Peace.
Peace and love, brother, man.
Peace, my brothers. How are y'all?
Yes, sir.
You're doing good, man.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I just want to say, you know, I was introduced to Brother Ahmed Rashid through a DVD that I saw some 4 years ago, and he was dealing with subject matter that, up to my experience at that point, had been very advanced and seemed out of reach and out of touch for a lot of folks on a base level. And the way he presented it, it just made a lot of advanced concepts seem very, very simple, and put it into a perspective that made it seem more ancient than what is normally presented. And had the opportunity to meet the brother in person, and over the last 4 years they've been a very enlightened 4 years. So with that, Brother A. Rashid, we wanted to put Judaism specifically into a certain framework, to kind of pull the veil off of it, so to speak, and to show its ancient, very ancient presence amongst our people. We may not have called certain things by the names that they're presently known, but the principle, the concepts themselves are not foreign to people, ancient indigenous people. The series that we're in now speaks on Judaism. So, for me, there are like 4 pillars of Judaism that exist in the forms of Abraham, Jacob, Joseph, and Moses. And I was hoping that you could help shine some light on the significance of those 4 characters.
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. I'm going to get right to it. Those characters are emblematic of a particular bloodline of historical but mythic personages who carried a story from the Phoenician bent. Now, after the Phoenicians lost, or the Carthaginians, they lost. It took them like 3 battles. Like they call those like the Punic Wars, when it took that much angst from the Europeans to actually destroy them. They even, their slaves even flipped on them in Libya. So I'm name dropping historically to tell you who ran away with your stuff. So after the Romans destroyed Carthage, they took with them the high science of Carthage. They had one of the biggest cities. Okay, so the Libyans are, today we know where Libya is at. It's North Africa, and we know the people of North Africa are not as darkly hued as those who are in sub-Saharan or deeper down into the south. So we know that those people are products of historical amalgamation. So wherever you find historical amalgamation, or wherever you find people that are dispersed based off of historical upheavals, wherever their stories go, when they're destroyed, their stories always have their richness in them. So the fact that you had to be subjugated means you had something valuable. So they take your story, they realign the names of the story, and then re-represent you in the story, but without your face, in new names, and in new nomenclatures, and the new duties, and the new powers, and whatever. So now myths change in accordance to social needs. So you might find a myth in particular, people always find in Commission, people who really delve deep into myth, and they're not just fashionista studying Commission myth, lore. They get into it on a level where they can see the nuances and unlock other areas within. I'm sure BaBa Nu knows what I'm talking about. His books, he creates a through line connecting the Commission motifs with the relevant motifs of the modern magic sorcery we use today. So if you see a historical marker in one area of a dynastic period where the god has one patroness or patron, and then in another historical period they have another patron or patroness, or one has one father in this period, but then in this one, or one was evil in this period, and then this period they were good. What you have is this a product of the need to readdress myths. So now when we get to fast forward now, Judaism, when I say Judaism in a room full of people, if we were to have a screen to show what's on everyone's mind at the moment that I say Judaism, we would all be astonished that everyone's mind is going to see a European face. And that is because of historical mind control. Historically, through mind control, you have been denuded of a identity which encompasses something that has been held sacred by a group of people who addressed a new way of thinking, a new way of life by taking your old religion. So what happens is now, when I say Judaism, black people or Africans or Moors or whatever you would like to call yourself now, people get a little, a little upset, a little agitated because they don't know that the fact that they're saying, oh, I'm saying Judaism and it looks like a Eurocentric concept, it's all coming from their indoctrination. And the large majority of us who are taught in the Western American world, we are not taught geography and history. So the fact that you're not taught geography and history, you do not understand anything beyond a social program. That's why they teach you social studies. Social studies is to make you a cog, not to make you a historian or anything. That's why people who are intellectuals are looked at as being great in societies where the majority of people are very dumb because of this. So now, let's flash forward. The Hasidism movement that you and I see, and we call these people Jews, is immediately, as soon as you see them, black hat, the curls on the side, we automatically associate them to be Jews. We go, yeah, they're Jews. Same instance, if you see a brother with a yarmulke on, people be like, this nigga is on their coattail trying to be down with them, when in actuality it's the other way around. Now, there are different forms of Judaism because they're all the same story, but different aspects of it based off of the culture of the people who took it. Hasidism is Polish African cosmology, plain. It's in Polish mind what the African was doing in Ethiopia in reference to diet, its synchronicity to the cosmos, and a detailed highlight on the Messiah and its relationship to the number 7 as well as the planet Saturn. So you will find that in all of those motifs. You heard? Now, there's a connection between food, there's a connection between the food and the cosmos, and there's a connection between a messianic force. Now, we could take those 3 pillars and go anywhere we want in Africa and find an origin for Judaism. Who wants to go to Mali? We can go to Mali. When we go to Mali, we can go and directly see that in the Zohar, the Moorish Moor who wrote the Zohar, because they try to, his name was Moses de Leon, but they try to tell you that it was a first century rabbi. Impossible, because he was using a form of language that was not known to anybody in that world. And the first people that uncracked that code were the Germans. This is why I respect German scholarship. I don't care what nobody says. The anti-intellectualism is what destroys African, quote unquote, the whatever these people want to call a revolution, whatever they're trying to do.
Yeah.
The anti-intellectualism is what cripples it. We don't read, and we have been isolated from reading because the large majority of the books that pertain to us are in Germanic languages. So we are not taught to even pursue them. They remove Latin and music out of the school system almost in synergy, and now This is why the kids are doing Waka Flocka, because there's no music in the schools, because the kids don't even know how to identify what's right and what's wrong with the music. They don't even have a through line. You understand? So back to Africa, let's take this. We could take those 3 pillars and go right to Egypt, and we could find the Kabbalah in the form that we magicians tend to use. See, a lot of people don't know why they call on angels when they do their work. Why do you call on an angel when you do your work? Where did that come from? You calling on Raphael, Gabriel. You wearing these colors. You want to know the color of the day and the color of the number and all this, and you calling on these deific forces, but you don't even know where it all arises. It all comes from, distinctively, from the gnosis of the Ethiopic Nag Hammadi Valley. Nag Hammadi Valley is where the gnosis of what is called Gnosticism, where we get Sophia, where we get the Hebdomad, and then we also get, in one distinct motif, this is very interesting, we have, as a result of a cosmological mingling, where they have some form of cosmic sex, they automatically are produced out of the womb 11 Ogdoads, meaning 88 gods or 88 distinct worlds. So our people was dealing with numbers, the cosmos, and food. That's why in the Dogon cosmology, see, let me go here. Everybody talking about Passover. Don't nobody know what the Passover really about. We just be talking about, we be living around Jews and we pay the rent to the Jews and don't know their cosmology. A lot of people don't even know that the Jew that you paying the rent to thinks that a white man is going to come as his name is the Moshiach, and he's going to come as the Messiah and save the world. So they got a advanced cosmological myth on Eastern Parkway, right past you. They don't even care about that Gucci man shit y'all dealing with. They're not even thinking about the hatred, the self-hate in your community, or the fact that you got addiction to chicken and shit. They're not even caring about that. They are in a lifelong journey of symbol law and ritual. They be sitting, nodding, reading prayer books. They are not playing with idle time. They cannot, because the odds are against them. You understand? They are trying to find a place in the cosmos to live forever, and the only way to do it is to ritualize you. Ritualize everything you do, everything you ever did. Ritualize you, mimic you, represent you in myth lore. You a monkey in his story of Magilla Gorilla. That's how he presented you as God. The Magilla Gorilla only had 31 episodes because it represents 31 paths on the Tree of Life. Each episode represents an objective and a subjective teaching that he gives. Now, the whole Tree of Life it's called the Etz Ha-Hayim, meaning the is the Ha. The Etz is the tree, and the life is the Kai. So when you see, like, Dougie Fresh got the Kai, and you see the dude down from Texas that wear the Hebrew joint on their chest, it's the Kai. It equals the number 18, and it represents life. It's the root of the word Kayam. You understand? Or Kairam or Hiram. It's the same Kai, right? So now the X phenomenologically is the Aset. Aset is what? She is the substance. Aset is the one that all of this is about. The physical world that you see is about her. This is why on the Tree of Life, Aset has on the top of the Etz HaKayim, the tree. See, I'm melding it for your minds. So when they play back this high and they listen to the radio, they'll put it together. There's no distinction. The Etz HaKayim, the Tree of Life, is how you address in the astral realm the concept of Aset. Because we running around with Commission concepts. We calling ourselves all these Commission names, but niggas ain't even got a two-dimensional schemata to even delve into the use of their names. This is why the niggerism is still intertwined. The niggerism now it went from dashikis to now Commission cloth. You heard? Because we're not delving scholastically into the intertwining the meanings, and we're not overlapping all world religions to find a significant one factor, the truth, the through line. So they are set. What's on her head? Let me finish this point. What's on her head? Her head, the top of her headdress is what? The throne of Asar. Now, this is a super symbol, because if we put Aset next to the tree of life, and we say that Aset on top of her head is the throne of Asar, and then we put the Etz HaKayim on the crown of the Etz HaKayim is Keter. Over Keter is Ein Saf Or. So Ein Saf or Asar is sitting on the crown of Aset as the Etz HaKayim and in the Commission cosmology. Feel me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, man. Well, you know, very, very few people will be able to make those type of connections because, you know, by and large, the Kabbalah that they present to the public is coded, you know, and it's coded in such a way as to also divorce it from its wellspring.
But this is the thing, the code is in, this is why I tell people, in order to understand your captor, you have to understand his philosophy. What do you call it? Diacritical Marxism is based off of Kabbalah. It's based off of the triad, the tree of life. It's the antithesis, thesis, synthesis of Hegel is Kabbalah. Spinoza, Schopenhauer, all of them dealt with Kabbalah. You have to delve into what were their philosophies in order for you to unlock and key into what they mean when they present it. Because you and I do Kabbalah every day. Kabbalah means just a received doctrine. When you and I greet each other and people see each other, see us, like you ever seen people that's in the little homies that's in the gang, their Kabbalah of communicating is when they do them hand locks and wrist locks and all that. That's some other whole spiritual shit. You don't even have to be down with that or don't even like it, but just to see people have a language that they're not speaking out of their mouth, but they have meaning and it has in the ritual factor. Yeah. That's their received doctrine. Hip hop, when niggas was standing there spinning on each other on the heads, and you do a move and then I do a move and then I start pop locking and all that, we was communicating without saying nothing. That was a form or a factor or a faction of our Kabbalah. So what's the difference between that and Hasidim? When you go to see Hasidim services, so you never see them in services. They be in there bugging, jumping up and down, singing, dancing.
Yeah.
Heard? They singing and dancing. And why do you think that Jews was the ones that controlled the music industry? Because all of the dudes that control the music industry and the film industry, their fathers were cantors. A cantor is a liturgical singer. A liturgical singer is somebody that sings from the prayer book. The majority of the prayer books that you see the Jews reading was written by the Ari or Isaac Luria, whose mother was an Ashkenazi Jew, who fasted on the side of the Nile River for 6 months, or I believe 6 years, just composing his doctrine. And he read the books of Moses de Leon, really, which is just the Zohar. So he studied the Zohar by the Nile because his whole thing was he had an uncle who was the biggest rabbi in Cairo, in Egypt, because Egypt had the biggest synagogue on the planet. So you're back in Africa again with your Judaism. Because Judaism in Cairo, in that context, was all about the Enlightenment. The European Enlightenment started in Hellenistic Egypt. You heard, after our last dynasties, all of the scraps that was left behind by whoever could read them or understood them, they built a context for them to live. So now what keeps, I'm going to tell you something, there's some genetic markers within the Polish people, right, that have been maintained over a course of so many years, and it looks like debilities to us in the form of many of them wearing glasses and whatnot. But if there are deformities, why is it that they are living and they're flourishing, they have so many children? Even though some of their children have deformities, they have a large number of, some of them have club feet and all that and whatever, but they are an upgrade. Why is this? It's because they eat a diet that is in accordance to a cosmic cycle. So any race of people who take on the culture of another people and eat like the other people will take on all of the spiritual context and markers of those people. So our spiritual system is helping everyone to survive, but now we are eating a social program. We are ritualistically eating, and back to Aset. Why is she the tree of life? Why is Aset the tree of life? And what do they have to do with food? And why do the Dogon eat the pole seed? The pole seed connects them to the star. And they got a 60-year ritual based around the pole seed, homeboy.
Yeah.
What kind of shit is that? That's crazy.
And there's 60 moons around Jupiter. And Jupiter is Tehuti, the god of wisdom.
Tell me about it. I got my Pisces is in Jupiter, and Pisces is in Jupiter right now. The only reason why you hear me building like this, and it's frenetic, is because this is cosmological. The moon is in my house tonight.
Yeah.
You feel me? The moon is in Scorpio tonight, and it feels like a balloon that's about to bust right before it's busting. You heard? That's why everybody's fussing. You heard? Today.
Oh, yeah.
And the energy is the energy of vengefulness. So in order for you to be successful on a day like this, you have to, because there's also some opposition. Go to astromama.com. That's my wizard's website, ASTROMAMA, mama.com. She has a excellent, superior reading on the Scorpio moon tonight. It's retarded. And it's all about repressing things that you've been hiding. And that if you continue to, the universe is going to make a way for you to express it, because it's going to be your only means to survive. So it's about these oppositions. See, this is the thing people don't understand. You be thinking you your own personality, but you're not. You're living the mandate of a stellar imperative.
Yeah.
You understand? The whole planet is in a one world order. The people who control the planet are the people who know the cosmic cycle and when to introduce new concepts and agendas, because they get everybody on board. They know when to shock niggas. You heard? Shock them right now. They know to shock you right now because there's a bunch of celestial shifts. This whole last 2 years, with all of this stuff they playing in the skies, they got smoke plumes, they blowing up presidents, they bugging, they got black presidents, everybody is intelligent all of a sudden, like automatically, like niggas that was dead is all of a sudden, they could see, you heard? This is because the magnetic plane, the magnetic charge of the planet is changing, because the planet is moving in the galaxy into another belt. And then that belt is going to require you to have a different context, a different body. So why do you think the agenda is all about getting our body to compete with the new cosmic agenda that's magnetically coming, that's only addressing melanin? It's only coming to melanated people. And the reason why we got to be most compassionate to one another and to each other's sickness right now is because the only way that you're going to be able to get your upgrade is in an empty vessel, a vessel that has been cleaned of all the hatred, the fear, the guilt that you've been feeling from your programmed experience. You got to cleanse that shit out and be receptive to truth, and truth alone. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Real talk.
Oh,
compassion.
man,
Compassion. We got to have compassion for one another. You know?
That's the most synergistic, Kabbalistic discourse I've heard in a long time.
No question. Well, y'all brothers is bringing the energy, man. Y'all laying it plain. You're doing the work. Hakim, you're always doing the work, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, also, man, you know.
You got a big reward coming to you, Hakim. I see it, man. This is what we do.
Yeah, man. You know, we really like to put on a good show here, man.
That's good. I like it.
You know. Yeah, man. That's why I was really glad that Hak decided to bring you in.
On the front page of your website, on aarashid.com,
Yes, AARashid.com. Listen, anybody that goes there now, I'm giving up some coupons for purchases on any of the new titles. I got a new title. I'm creating a new lane, man. We got to be more imaginative and see deeper into. We got to. I see the old timers, the people who are attending the lectures. They are asking for new content. You heard? Because everybody is regurgitating the same stuff. And nobody's putting a new lens, not listening to us. Listen to the youth. We're going to put a new lens on it. You know what I mean?
But what you've been doing with your video logs,
yes,
like
sir,
in a whole nother direction, because what the brother's doing is taking information and presenting it in a very artfully. He's taking the Kabbalah and he's applying it to popular art, and he's showing you how they're dropping all types of messages within the movies, within the music, within the different, images they constantly bombard us with, but you do it in such an artful way, Like I think that is brilliant what you're doing. You creating a whole new lane of expression, which is I think some years from now we're gonna look back and you're gonna be one of the pioneers of a whole new genre of.
Well, let me tell you what I do is just an extension of my people that I'm around and my experience and the people that I've been blessed to be raised by. So I always learn my best lessons by misdirection. Those who have taught not directly. Because in my youth, my age bracket, we didn't listen to the teacher that looks like a teacher and that's supposed to be a teacher. Like, our attitude was like, it sounds like you preaching to me. But the teachers that really teach you are the ones that don't really say what it is. They direct the course of attention to that. And one of my greatest teachers never even really told me nothing direct. He always would push me in the direction of where the learning was. And his brother name is Everlasting. The brother used to always, and this is when I learned to appreciate the Bible, because he was the one that connected me to the stories in the New Testament. Because the New Testament is extremely metaphysical. Very, very metaphysical, and they tell you it's all a chamber. It's all a. If you were to put the book of the New Testament, you could make the book in the New Testament. In fact, the whole Bible, if you could explode it and make, you know how they do this in film, like they do a slow motion explosion of a car, and they show you all the working parts of the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
In hologram and in 3D, that's what the New Testament is, because one chapter cross-references another, And then I always wonder why Christians is like slow. It's like me and you have the same conversation. If me and you have the same conversation every time I see you, it's going to get boring. That's the same thing with the four Gospels. They say the same thing. They only impart this little differences. You know what I'm saying? But the rest of the books, minus the Gospels is deep. But the Corinthians, oh my God, you're talking about some deep science. When you're talking about, then when they start talking about the wisdom of man is the foolishness of God, and the foolishness of God is the wisdom of man, that's some heavy science. So when you're trying to learn a specific area, like I was, and your teacher is telling you Proverbs from the Bible, but you never going to read the Bible, one day when the teacher not there, and the only thing that you have is the Bible, and then you read it, then everything that he was trying to tell you, you just figured that shit out. And that's how I like to teach. I just put it there, and we in the post creative like art period, like in the post-Renaissance period, like of art, where before everything was made distinctively telling you how to look at it. Now this new art is people are presenting imagery to you, and then you present to the world in your expression of what you see, what the artistic endeavor is. Because I learn from the viewers. I put up a tube, and some of the comments from, like the quality comments, when the people are not nitpicking at some stupid shit, and I purposely put stuff in there to distinguish them too. so they can really see. People be like, yo, they might be like, yo, why you got so many white folks? Well, and when you're looking at Jewish film, and I preface it, when you're looking at Jewish film, you're looking at white people acting African cosmology out, and they tinge it with political intent to make it a ritual that's a one-hitter quitter. You know how you can knock something out in one punch? You heard? So it's like they doing magic through visuals, and Hollywood is a realm where they focusing on supplanting images deep into your psyche, so deep into your psyche that it envelopes out into the manifest universal realm and starts making the truths realities. The only way that they can pull off any of these great feats is to first have put those ideas within the psyche of the mind, in particular the mind of women. So thus we find the idea of why the serpent had to impart his wisdom to the woman first at the tree of life. She is the root. Then we find out why was Esau robbed of his birthright, because the mother was the only one that could do it. So now, everybody in every lecture, the energy, everybody's speaking about this is the woman's time. This is the woman's time. Are we really getting what that means? Are we understanding what it meant to see in Sumer, on the cylinders on the walls, women participating in the laboratory to create man? Are we understanding that it's something very powerful? Why did women purposely isolate themselves in Africa and in indigenous cultures and not cook the food for the family during her menstrual cycle? Why did women purposely have their own languages? And they just had a woman from China that was the last woman on earth that could speak an ancient secret society language known only to women. Why do women have secret societies, and why is the woman the first one to impart all her truths to humanity? Because she's the one that speaks right to the baby, and all babies become grown men. Why is she the one why do they have to make their products Aunt Jemima? Why did they have to take and encapsulate her imagery and make it as the one who feeds the nation? Right? Why? Because she is the one in control. That's right. It's because she is in control of the magnetic field. She's the one that can change the rules of the game. So if you put a concept in her mind, and she thinks that she has to put a perm in her head just to get a job, she can confuse the entire world to instill within them an insecurity or an inferiority complex just off of her actions. And a lot of people don't want to hear this truth, but yet we say in the next breath that this is her time. So if this is her time, then imagine her at her full potential, unimpeded by anything outside impeding on her concept of who she should be. Right? What if, see now, these is this type of shit that goes down in my mind. Now, because I got one of the minds, my mother let me, she endowed me with the ability to have an imagination as a child, right? Because she denied me a television until I was older. I couldn't even watch TV. I didn't even have one. But I never thought that I was missing anything because I had art books, I had toys, I had all type of shit. I used to make toys, you know what I'm saying? And shit like that. So when I'm in a cab, and I'm noticing that they saying that there's a recession, right? And I know that currency deals with movement. If I'm sitting in the cab and we at a light, and the light is long as fuck, it's taking us forever for the light to change, I know that they can change currency value and the monetary value of the output of people and their work by simply fucking with the timers on the lights, son. You heard? Because if you can't get a product to a place in an efficient time frame, doesn't make $1 right? Right?
Right.
Now what motivates men to conquer and to have power in the physical world is to have access to females so he can have progeny. So during wars, what's the first thing that when we take over a populace, say because we were warring people, when we used to go and we vanquish and we war, well, imagine us as Hannibal and the Carthaginians. When we came, we killed all the men. We didn't need them no more. We already had 80,000 Africans with us, right? 800,000. We killed all the men, and what's left? The women, right, and the children. So women are the centerpiece of what creates and essentially the drive to power. When you want to go, the Brother Polite offered this wonderful motif when in speaking about the female power. If they said that all men is free in the club, who's going to go to a club where all the men is free and the women got to pay? I'm not going. I'm going to the club where the women is free. You heard? So the club where the women is free and the women is beautiful, they make a lot of money at the end of the night, right? You heard?
Oh yeah.
Right? So now, if women can single-handedly, if they were functioning under the auspice of the cosmic field, this is why they had to take her out of the kitchen. Because if she is out of the kitchen and at somebody's workplace, she cannot maintain a specific magnetic field that ensures our success as we go through the belt. You heard? So now, quietly and insidiously, every state that I go to, in all of the gentrified areas, they have Whole Foods, right? Now, minus people talking about, well, you know, Whole Foods sells stuff that's not organic too. Fuck the nitpickers. I'm talking about the serious shit. They got Whole Foods in all these gentrified areas while you and I got pig feet in a jar on the corner, right under the ice cream. Turn to your left, there go your chips. Right to the right, there go your soda. And then around the corner, the funeral home. You heard? So everybody knows that the food and who prepares the food, her, because she is the tree of life, the serpent had to go to her to get a body. He had to go to her to get her to eat in order for him to get a body. Are you understanding what I'm saying? That the serpent ain't a snake, it's a magnetic field. This is metaphysics. The magnetic field can't get a body unless it goes to her. She is the one who is the offset, the tree. She's the one that manufactures the twins, DNA, which manufactured the physical body, her fruit. You heard? You see? So now she creates the physical world by manufacturing two sons or two personages of who she is. And she produces metal and then she produces vapor. The name of metal she calls Cain. The name of vapor she calls Hubble or Abel. His name really means Hubble. It means nothing. And Cain means metal, something metallic. So in the story, the curse starts because the one who's metal kills that which is spiritual, and this creates the curse. So the story is living within the curse. So you got to address religion from a myth law, because if you don't, if you take it literally, then all of us is cursed. We all sinning. What's the sense of living? Let's go. Let's boom, boom, bang. Let's go now. What's the sense of living, right? But metaphysically, we see the undertaking. It's a story of maintaining magnetic fields. Whoever maintains the magnetic field lives forever. Our genetic markers are connected to the magnetic field. We're losing the markers. We're losing the markers. Look at the morphogenic field surrounding the flesh husk of the people around us. It's changing. When you look at old pictures, when I look at the pictures from the 1930s and 40s, of my old family members, and I look at the pictures of other people's family members, these people weren't obese. These people weren't suffering from the same maladies that we're suffering from. These people, even, let me tell you something, even the hog that they was living on I got more case studies of people that was eating hog living to be 90-something than I do of stories of people in this modern era that's living to be 45 and 50. The stress is killing us with their food. New York, I'm about to kick New York in the ass. Because this shit it don't make no sense no more. Because everybody is turning into a fucking wolf, yo. People are disgusting in New York. You feel me? The energy here is disgusting, yo. It's disgusting. I hate it, and it's all going to the monetary system. And then everybody's letting everybody get away with murder. Everybody got an attitude. You heard? You go outside, all the women is screwing their face up. All the men is fucking, these niggas looking like they got stockings on. The jeans are so tight. Shit is crazy, son. I got to kick this magnetic field in the ass because they're going to pull another stunt here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The next stunt's going to be in the 40 Deuce. I already feel it. It's going to be at the Deuce because the Deuce is a center for where time is inaugurated. So they're going to realign time and manufacture another false timeline cycle, as usual. You know, this shit is crazy. But who cares when you make your own time? We need to make a new calendar system and get on and start inaugurating. We dealing with 7. 7 is a limitation. 7, people want to venerate 7 and be like 7 is God. God is a limitation. God is a limitation. We gotta go beyond God. The only English word I know to define what precedes God is a titan. You heard? Now, when we get into that, we know that Titan is really dealing with huge spaces within the galactic, alignments, the big spaces in the sky, the galaxy. The play out of the movie, Brother Ampu broke that shit down in half like a shotgun about how the Clash of the Titans ain't nothing but a celestial movie. It's about celestial alignment. You know what I mean? So, it's crazy. It's crazy how much stuff is going on right before our eyes.
Yeah, a lot of movies of late have been so esoteric. Clash of the Titans. There was another one about the Greek gods, and just find it interesting that they're putting
the lightning thief. Shout out to the blue pill and the red pill. The blue pill and the red pill. They the ones that hit me to the lightning thief. I can't wait till their DVD comes out from Atlanta that they did with Professor Griffin Ampu. That's gonna be crazy. But let me tell you something. These movies are defining and creating a future. And if you find yourself, you can't find yourself in these movies. What major movie just came out where the black man lives all the way to the end of the movie and wins and walks away with the girl? None of them. All the other movies, the white men are having all the fun. They get all the women they want. They get to put on metal suits and jump out of planes and shit. You know what I mean? They get to have fights with evil villains and win every single time. But we get precious. You raping your fucking daughter. They don't even show you in the movie. I
don't even know how that.
That shit was a horror movie.
I walked out.
I'm vicariously speaking about the movie as though I've seen it, but I've seen it through the trauma of other people. I refuse to watch it. That stupid shit, and we need to be careful too. We've been running around buying that DVD, Farewell Uncle Tom. That shit is some bullshit. Niggas don't need to stop watching that. You need to throw that shit away before your children be stuck with that shit in the future. We running around with a lot of stupid shit, like the same way the people, when they conquer you, they burn books. We need to take some of this shit that we got now and start burning it. Farewell Uncle Tom. If everything exploded in this world and then they started a new civilization and the only thing that they had as a context for what this world was about was Farewell Uncle Tom, black people was fucked up because that shows you the standard. It's like, let me tell you something. Why do you think slavery is is a spiritual concept in many people cultures. The Italians was the ones that made Farewell Uncle Tom. It was a social program movie. They had to take it out to theaters in 42nd Street, right? Now, why do you think that they used Gandhi in synergy with Dr. Martin Luther King?
Because of the nonviolence?
Because of what?
The nonviolence?
That's one aspect. The other aspect I realized when I went to Guyana. When I went to Guyana, and it was the 171st or 72nd anniversary of the occupation of Hindu Indians in Guyana. Now, why were they sent to Guyana? The reason why they were sent to Guyana was because the first colonizers who colonized the Hindu were who? The British.
Markle? Yeah.
The British.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, what do the British are the ones in charge of? Mother, MI6 and all of that. They into heavy mind control. The British is ill with it. So the British, in order for them to maintain the interest in the wealth of that country, had to put in people who had within their spiritual system a distinct knowledge of the caste system. Now, the British couldn't occupy that part of the world. That part of the world would have rejected them. Because everything down there to subsist is of seed or it's a fish. And all of the fish or the seeds or the fruit got color in them. Hakim, I tasted fruit that I have never seen before in my life that tastes that you don't have to eat for the rest of the day. That's all you got to eat is just one piece of them pieces of fruit. And the seed on every single fruit down there was black or dark brown. You heard? So that, people be thinking that white folks can eat health food and still conquer you. They can't. If they eat totally healthy, it's like putting a Ferrari engine inside of a Volkswagen Beetle. If you turn the engine all the way up on that shit, it will destroy the infrastructure of the Beetle. And you just have an engine and a fire. You heard? So they had to put a melanated people who had within their religious context a knowledge of the caste system. So why did they use a South African lawyer as the backdrop to Dr. Martin Luther King? Because Gandhi was a South African lawyer, buddy. Hello?
Yes, he was.
He was utilized as a social program to make the people in India acquiesce totally to the British interests. Now, the Muslims in the region are being utilized by Mother and MI6. So MI6 and all of them dealing with heavy mind control. They use the religions, the political students, and all of that dumb shit. The students fighting and people protesting. And what do they call them people? Activists? Activists is fucking the Illuminati. No bullshit. All these people talking about Green Day and all that, and them kids climbing up on trees they didn't want to cut down and all that. They are the antithesis to the thesis, so they are part of the problem. You ain't a part of the problem until you totally disassociate yourself from problems and don't care about nothing. You heard? As soon as you can create a response, then you have a responsibility to live in the context that you responded to. You know? Real talk. So people have within them context for where they are placed at in a time period. Where's our place at in our cosmology as African, quote-unquote, Americans? BaBa, I know you from the islands. And people from the islands have a different, and this is, I hate to bring about differences in showing people, but I want to show people the truth. This is why white folks sit around and when they create social programs, they speak about the nuances and the major trends in culture. And I noticed that people from the West Indies are aligned to a different type of theology. They are the closest ones that could believe that the black man is God. That's why Farrakhan is from the West Indies. It was easy. He didn't have that. Rastafarianism is a backdrop to ancient Ethiopic principles, which precede Judaism. You heard? This is why it was right for them to say that they are the natural blood heirs to the myth of David. Because David didn't exist. David is a myth. You heard? But they are people who are the bloodlines who hold the myth. The bloodline is the Ark of the Covenant. The bloodline is the cup of the sepulchre. You heard? Yeah. The blood is holding the truth to the cosmos. So
it's the Grail.
It's the Grail, the Holy Grail, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So the people from even my Latin brothers and sisters who listening to this radio show, the brothers from the Latin American countries, see, they use y'all in the movies. Dusk to Dawn, Quentin Tarantino and them, whenever you see people smoking cigarettes in movies, they dealing with the Indian powers. You heard? Especially when they about to do something that's horrific or something in the films, because nicotine. Why do you think people be making altars and people put cigars at the altars? Your BaBa will tell you need to put a cigar there and do this and all that. But niggas never ask why the cigar. Because the cigar has nicotine in it, and nicotine has a receptor that mimics the memory receptor. Why you think you need to smoke a cigarette after you have sex, or people choose to smoke a cigarette when they come up out of sex? It's because men, in particular, it's like you landing from another dimension. You have to remember who you are. You heard?
You gotta come back.
In order for you to come back. So when you take the ayahuasca, they take the tobacco oil, put it in the pipe. Once you take the ayahuasca, then they blow tobacco oil over your head. And people said it feels like your cranium split open, but it don't hurt. But it feels like it's split open. You heard? And now you're connected now you can see anything. You
Crown chakras open up.
Yeah, you can see anything. You can see somebody stealing from you. You can see where your keys was at that you lost. Now you in another dimension. Now plants are speaking to you. A plant is going to tell you, yo, eat me, because that fungus on your foot will go away. Eat this plant. You heard? So you dealing with magnetic fields. Go ahead,
BaBa.
Yeah,
in the Middle East, the Semitic or Jewish priests would wear these hats that look like mushrooms, because that was an integral part of the practice of the priesthood, specifically for the males.
Yes, sir. They describe it when they say that Yahweh manifested himself in the temple in the form of a black smoke. You heard? He revealed himself out of a black smoke in the company of the priests as they were in the synagogue or the tabernacle, whatever you want to call it. And that's the manna that they're speaking about. And in Freemasonry, in the opening of the first into the apprentice degree, you were taught about the dew of Hermon that comes down on trees of Hermon. The dew, when they speak about the dew, they're speaking about you extrapolating astral vision. The word equals the number 39, and that's the equivalent of the numbers 4 through 9. If we add up the numbers 4 to 9, it'll equal 39. And 39 deals with a specific area on the tree of life, which deals with copper. And the copper element is what deals with your ability to deal. Like if you walk around with copper on you, you are magnetic to the etheric mythic world. Like I keep copper in my office and around me because that's one of my. It's like having the internet service to the ancestral plane when you have copper around you. You feel me?
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of the aspect of the Kabbalah has become like esoteric, but we only have 42 seconds left, man. Once again, give people your website address and let them know what type of wonderful stuff they can get from you.
and I got classes every week. Just call, man. Call the phone, 718-506-4518. Set it up, man, for your class, man. Stop playing. And shout out to speaking of stop playing, shout out to Sister Abundance Child, King Simon, my whole family over there. They got events coming up. Stay tuned to Kabbalah God. Just put it in the search engine, QABALAGOD, and for all the information on what's going on. Shout out to Know the Legs TV, the Blue Pill, Red Pill, Brother Ampool, everybody that's doing it and ain't hating. You feel me? Shout out to the wizards, man. The wisdoms, man. We do it all for the women. All the studying, all we doing, all these books niggas is writing, it's all about women anyway. You heard?
It always has been.
Word up. It
always will be. Story never told.
That's right.
So, everyone, want to thank you for listening in. I know we're not streaming anymore. Hakim, you could go ahead and close out too, man.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, this is Hakim Green. I want to thank Rashid for coming on and blessing us with a beautiful show. Thank you for going in and sharing them jewels with us. I'm looking for BaBa New. It's been a pleasure. Once again, this is the Hour of Truth. And truth.